Hey there, I'm here with another nice T.A.C.T update for you guys for Clan T.A.C.T, and to mainly just update you as to where things are and where they can go from here. I know there are a few clan battle requests that have come in, and very slowly over time we can take a look at them. However, I know that with a lot of things that are changing in our daily lives, a lot of our most experienced players or the majority of our roster is no longer active or is out, so I'm going to take the time to help out our newer players and the newer ones that are trying and fill in for the other players that we usually play with. This video will also be here, and it will also be posted at T.A.C.T Productions Incorporated, the YouTube for our clan. A couple of tips and tricks that I'm going to execute in my own hand in order to show you different ways and how to maneuver in the gameplay. This I've learned from a lot of people that I've met and from a number of battles that I've had myself and that the clan has had over the past year of existence since coming into existence. Let us start. I'm going to just go around the board here. I'm not really going to go in any particular order, just like my first training video. Now, to recap a couple of particular tips from my preceding video, I talked about using the destroyer and using the hover destroyer outline, so I will demonstrate again how to do that. For this map, let's start with a basic mobility such as this jump, which allows a good deal of distance over the field. You want to start by putting yourself right here along this line, the meridian strip between the field and the top platform. Press X right at the top of it in vehicle mode, and it allows you to glide right up here really smoothly. And you see from that angle, it gives you the majority of the latter half of the battlefield from that point. Next up is going to be the hover bounce trajectory, which from doing this, it allows you to get good momentum in the air and stability in the air long enough for the vehicle rockets to land their point based off of where you shoot them and when. I'm going to demonstrate this again. So for those of us that are destroyer specialists or those that favor the destroyer, and I know there's a handful of you, that's okay. You want to know this particular trick, so if you can't use the barrier destroyer, or you're not good with the barrier destroyer, try your hand out at the hover destroyer. Personally, the hover destroyer is a lot more dominant than the barrier destroyer, even though the barrier has 2 to 3 different mechanics. Hover gives a very huge aerial advantage over other destroyers and over every other class in the game. And so it allows a huge amount of distance with some classes and some players, and in addition, it's happened so suddenly, so it's a sudden response time that not all players, if any, are able to respond to as fast as they may appear. Now, once I get out here, I will show you the barrier outline next, because it's something I did not cover initially in my preceding document that I came here. Now, in my preceding documentation about the barrier, I told you originally to shoot either on the top hand side, left or right hand side, because when fighting a barrier class destroyer player, it's key to keep paying attention to where they're moving and where they place the barrier. That brings me to this next thing here. When you shoot them, in addition to how they place the barrier on left and right, also pay attention to shooting underneath the barrier. Shooting underneath the barrier is very key to getting a good amount of damage because it gets right around to where their legs are, the abdominal area or the abdominal area itself. This does the most amount of damage because it does damage close to their body or close to their head, and so it does a lot more damage. Then from vehicle mode to robot mode, it should give you enough time to score a finishing blow, a finishing blow. And then also, first and foremost, is when using the barrier destroyer yourself, take the barrier with you. Move as you place the barrier, that way you take the least amount of damage also in your own. And always keep moving, don't stay for too long around your barrier. If you stay for too long around your barrier, your opponent's going to pick up on how you're moving, and it's going to make it easier for them to shoot you or to headshot you. More than likely, 9 times out of 10, they're going to try to headshot you above the barrier because it's going to do the most amount of damage in a short amount of time if they hit it twice in a row. So, just keep that in mind. Next, let's move on to what am I doing? Yeah, actually, wait a minute. I think I got something. Or the scientist outline. Moving on, do a scientist build real quick. I do not believe I need to recollect the tip about how to do basic scientist class maneuverability. Normal maneuverability will come with time. Practice and escalation does help with this, as you've been doing. Oblivion does give access to the two main scientist users, the only ones you can use, so you can practice there or hub. I want you to take a look at these lines here. These guidelines for the Gear Shredder is what allows you to cut around corners, and can ricochet very advantageously off a number of different obstacles in the environment, or in some cases can also ricochet off teammates or off of enemy teammates, with damage infliction normally intertwined. I know some about the Gear Shredder, but not a lot. I only use it during clan battles. I never use it during public. I mainly just use all the other guns but Gear Shredder. But I like to try and keep my practice to precision-based gameplay only. Next, I'm going to show you how to do gameplay with the orbital pistol. Personally, one of my favorite guns. It's somewhat tricky to use, but after a while, it's very easy to use. It's very quick-paced, quick shots. It's good for targeting and keeping tabs on enemy locations, and it does a very good deal of damage in its own right, depending upon what perk outline you use. Now, what I'm going to teach you to do with this one, mainly aside from quickscoping, like what I'm doing here, is how to do it in succession fire, where you can go from what I'm doing now, in pressing triangle at select times in order to stack damage back and forth, because you're switching the rate of damage that's being inflicted upon the enemy player. Damage may vary depending upon guns and perks, but it does help. Also, the Scientist, while it is the most effective one I've seen that can do it, all the other classes are capable of this exact same outline of damage. And by extent, the same rate of efficiency, if not more so. Next, let me switch to something else here. Let me see here. Up next is going to be Scout Play. This one's going to be particularly an EMP outline. I believe I did show an EMP Scout outline in relevancy to the preceding training video. I'm thinking of how I want to do this. I've seen different players play with different types of lights out thing. This one here, the succession fire, can work in the same mindset. Personally, I feel that it works just as effectively on a scout as it does with a scientist, because it's very overpowered with the correct setup that works for speed-based outlines, such as builds that you would put together for capture the flag. Just like what it is I have now, that would allow for speed and damage stacking at a very fast rate. EMP, spread, precision-based damage, 3, 2. Also, I know most players always go through the process of wasting the entire clip just to waste accuracy, and you waste ammo in order to just get the lights out effect, and then you spread damage right. While yes, that is an effective tactic, I also feel it's a waste of ammo and it's a waste of accuracy, so I would say to do your best to also try not to waste the ammo, because if you're in a very hard situation or you're in a crunch time situation, you want to make every bullet count. You don't want to miss it needlessly unless you can help it. But at the same time, you also don't want to miss an opportunity to get in the maximum amount of damage that the scout is capable of doing this time around. So it's a situation where you want to try and have proper judgment. And good judgment of the situation comes with practice. And practice is where we are. Enemies at the box up ahead. And not a single drop wasted, hypothetically. I believe I do have something here. I have a cloak outline. Also a particular cloaking trick that I would like to show you that is most effective in highly stressful situations where you're using practice and how that does work. Just a matter of the patience, and after a while, in execution of the practice. Alright, for the cloak outline here, you can have Spectre, or you can have the perk outline for the cloak regenerating itself as fast as possible. Vehicle mode cloaking. This is a highly useful and time-friendly technique that's used by a lot of predominant scout class players, as it allows you to move stealthily from one part of the field all the way over to another selected part of the field, practically without being seen or noticed whatsoever until the very last second when it's too late. Now you notice how when you move very slowly, you blend in so carefully with the environment that you're literally impossible to see in vehicle mode. In robot mode, yes, it is a little easier in order to spot them because you see like a hazy-ish silhouette that blends into the environment. But in vehicle mode transformation with cloaking, you can barely see anything at all. It's like a ghost. You can't see it at all until it's too late. See what I'm saying, boy? Now, when you're in the heat of battle, as opposed to just casually moving around back and forth across the battlefield, sometimes the varying factors between a fast opponent or a fast reaction time can impair your judgment, and so you might move faster than you need to, and it will deplete your cloaking bar a lot faster than need be. And then when it gives out, it just leaves you as a sitting duck. In that case, again, use the environment to your advantage. Your environment is your best friend when you're playing as a scout, both as an EMP scout and as a cloaking scout. Sniper or non-sniper intention. Let me go to Titan next, and let's get something over here for you. There we go. Next is to learn how to shoot behind or adjacent to the shield for Titan class. Where you're at and where your enemy is at will all depend on your rate of success and successive hits. So for instance, say that the shield would be more or less right next to that container. You want to have it lined up just right exactly to it, like this, but to the left or to the right, so it would not hit the shield, but it would hit an indicator or hit marker around the shield. For instance, on the Titan, the hit marker would be either the arm or the side of the leg. I'll go out here in the open because usually when I do my one-on-ones on this map, it comes up more often than you might think. Like say the enemy was right over there by that box, on either end of that box over there, so the hit marker for them that they would be aiming at from that angle would be right here along the railing. Right where you see the bottom ladder of the slime cannon's trajectory pulsing, right on the bottom indicator of it, which I'm pointing to at the moment, that's where they would be aiming at when you have your shield up. And 9 times out of 10 it will hit the target. Again, it's not going to be aimed directly, but it's going to be aimed to the left or to the right, and it's going to be in rapid succession, so you have to be ready to move or to have your harvester out in order to counterattack.
2 minutes left.
That's more than enough time to finish up the dot. There's not too much else to cover after that other than just working from left and right depending upon what situation you're in order to knock the enemy away. And then you want to knock the enemy away towards the direction in which the shield dissipates or goes away. That way you can automatically switch and go to that direction with the harvester, coming from good harvester play. Let me switch back to something real quick and go over another quick aspect about basic mobility with the hover destroyer. But I have a pretty good set here for the hover destroyer outline. It's kind of like my Lord Optimus 3.0. Alright, let's start with a basic vantage point, one that's always used by all the classes before going into battle. Right up here. So if you can't do the edge jump in order to get up there, remember to do this, jump, R2, boom. Instantly done, and vantage point right into vehicle mode gives you the majority of the battlefield and straight over to the platform itself. And then if you're still moving, X, transformation, tip top, hold it. Let me see, there's another vantage point in which can also be accessed, because scientists and destroyers can access it also if you can get up to the top of here. Same trick with the XR2 transformation, like so. And I had it, but you get the general idea. I'm gonna work at this for a little bit. Anyway, thanks for tuning in to the video for T.A.C.T Productions Incorporated. That'll help with good future training sessions and learning in particular tips and tricks in order to help combative growth. Playing T.A.C.T, use these tips to your advantage any way fit. If you have any questions, just go ahead and ask away.
I'm your host, the guy in the sweater who asks all the obvious questions.